Time to head to the United States, and despite spending more time in court than on the election trail, Donald Trump is ahead in the polls. Joining me is US politics expert at the Hawaii Pacific University, Dr. Jennifer Walsh. Jennifer, thanks for coming onto the program. Really appreciate it. What do you make of the polls? Some are saying just pause for a moment because they're not a true reflection of what will happen in November. What's your take?
Well, hello, Tim. Thanks so much for having me on. It is still premature to call a winner this early on in the race. We have lots of months and runway left before voters actually show up on election day. But the clear indication is that Biden needs to work hard to regain the support of people who previously supported him in 2020. The swing states are what everyone's looking at right now. These are the ones where you have almost an even split between Democrat and Republican voters. And for the most part, party ID still governs how people think about their candidates that are up for re-election, or in this case, Trump trying one more time to reclaim the Oval Office. Trump right now has a 2 to 3 point edge in most swing states. That's still within really a statistical rounding error, but it's a clear indication that Biden does not have an easy path ahead of him.
It looks more like a soap opera than a election campaign. We've got Donald Trump spending more time in court. If it wasn't real, you wouldn't quite believe it, I think.
That's absolutely right. In fact, I had a conversation earlier today, and that was the phrase we used. It's like a soap opera that takes on a weirder and weirder storylines. But right now, we are obviously looking at a couple of different things. Trump is facing his criminal trial coming to a close in New York. There are projections that the jury could get closing arguments on Monday and then head into deliberation as early as Tuesday. The big unknown is whether Trump is going to take the stand. He's said all along that he wants to tell his side of the story, and I think he's been increasingly frustrated by the gag order that the judge has put on him and enforced through fines and other threats of jail time. So I'm sure Trump's going to be urging his attorneys that he wants to get on the stand and tell his side of the story. From a legal perspective, that would be disastrous. And I'm sure his attorneys are going to do everything they can to try to urge him not to lean in that impulse. Just because it opens up so many potential lines of questioning right now that they don't have to worry about. So we'll wait to see who wins that particular battle. I would side with the lawyers on that one. But then it's in the hands of the jury. Whether or not they're going to come back with guilty verdicts is anyone's guess.
Yeah, and that's going to be amazing, isn't it, when that jury comes forward and announces where they are on the trial, because that could have a very pivotal role in what happens in November.
That's right. And of course, the announcement of the debates this week also has everyone speculating what that's going to mean in terms of a November contest. This is the first time ever that we've seen presidential debates scheduled before the conventions. So the first one is scheduled right now to air on CNN June 27th, which is a month before the Republicans head into their convention week, and then 2 months before the Democrats hit their convention week. Then they'll follow up on a September 10th debate deadline that was set, and we'll see what storylines emerge after the convention season. By then, the candidates will have announced not only who their running mates are. No surprise, we're expecting Biden to reconfirm Kamala Harris as his running mate. There's still speculation as to what Trump might do for his running mate, and that'll certainly be part of the conversation, given the advanced age that both of these candidates are presenting the voters with.
It's interesting, isn't it, that there's only a few years, there's probably 3.5 years between the two of them, but the real consistent line with Joe Biden and the criticism of the current US president is his age.
That's right. Well, at 81 years old, he's the oldest president that we've ever had in office, much less running for re-election. We've certainly seen problems with octogenarians in the Senate trying to maintain a rigorous schedule and also the cognitive sharpness that you need in order to be effective in the role. Of course, Trump is only 77, in comparison, about a decade behind. Half a decade, but he also has presented concerns about cognitive decline that have been raised by those who are watching his speech patterns, watching his behavior. And of course, given his previous health concerns with a very serious case of COVID back when he was still in the Oval Office, there is worry that both of these candidates could suffer a major medical setback even before the November election or shortly thereafter taking office.
Dr. Jennifer Walsh, it is a fascinating time. I'd love to have a chat with you a number of times before November. A lot of water's got to go under this bridge.
Thank you so much for having me on.